While politicians argue and tycoons pose for magazine covers, the real architects of Philippine wealth are women you've never even heard of. They control the banks, the broadband, the groceries, and in some cases, the government's lifeline. This is the untold story of the richest women in the Philippines and how they quietly run the nation. Number 10. Maria Grace Uy, the digital dynamo who wired a nation. In a country where fast internet once felt like a myth, one woman decided to stop waiting for change and built it herself. Maria Grace Uy, co-founder of Converge ICT, didn't come from a billion-peso dynasty or inherit an empire. She built one from fiber and fire. Back in the early 2000s, she and her husband Dennis Anthony Uy ran a tiny cable TV business in Pampanga. They sold Betamax tapes on the side to make ends meet. Until they noticed something. Everyone was desperate for speed. The big telcos weren't delivering, so they decided to do it themselves. From that spark came a revolution. What began as a provincial side hustle became one of the largest broadband networks in Southeast Asia, spanning over 800,000 kilometers of fiber and connecting 17 million homes across the Philippines. Their 2020 IPO raised $500 million, the biggest tech offering in Philippine history, instantly propelling the couple into the nation's billionaire circle. But Maria Grace isn't the face of glamour, she's the backbone of precision. Inside Converge, she's known for her data-driven obsession with efficiency, a leader who can recall customer metrics down to the decimal. Employees describe her as demanding, relentless, and razor-sharp, the kind of CEO who treats lag like a crime. While her husband handles the vision, she handles the velocity. Together, they forced industry giants like PLDT and Globe to evolve or risk extinction. Analysts even compared Converge's meteoric rise to Netflix in its early days. Lean, aggressive, unstoppable. And yet, Maria Grace's story isn't just about speed. It's about self-made defiance. No political favor, no inherited fortune. Just two hustlers from Pampanga who decided to connect a country left buffering for too long. Number 9. Vivien Ascona, the pharmacy queen who healed a nation. Every Filipino has walked into a Mercury drugstore at least once for a headache, baby formula, or late-night vitamins. Behind that glowing red and white sign stood Vivien Ascona, the quiet force who made sure no one in the Philippines ever had to walk far for medicine. Her story began with her father, Mariano Quay, who started Mercury Drug in 1945 with nothing but a pushcart of medicine in war-torn Manila. Vivien joined the company in 1977, not as an executive but as an assistant, learning every inch of the business from the stockroom to the ledger. By the time she took over as president, Mercury Drug had already become the country's largest pharmacy chain, but Vivien transformed it into something more, a lifeline. Under her leadership, Mercury pioneered 24-hour pharmacy service, introduced the Suki loyalty program, and launched Gamot Padala, a first-of-its-kind delivery system that let families send medicine across the country. These weren't business moves, they were social revolutions. She turned the act of buying medicine into something personal, accessible, and humane. For decades, surveys ranked Mercury Drug among the most trusted brands in the Philippines, often outranking government institutions. When Vivien passed away in 2025, the nation didn't just lose a business icon, it lost one of its moral anchors. Tributes didn't come from billionaires. They came from jeepney drivers, nurses, and families who depended on her stores. Mercury Drug remains family-owned, debt-free, and proudly Filipino, a monument not to luxury, but to service. Vivien proved that quiet leadership can build louder legacies than any headline ever could. Number 8. Soledad Cojuangco, the matriarch who quietly powers the nation. Every time a car rolls down an expressway, a factory fires up, or a bottle of San Miguel beer is opened. A fraction of that wealth traces back to one woman, Soledad Cojuangco, the widow of the late tycoon Eduardo Danding Cojuangco Jr. Isn't a name you see in headlines, but her fingerprints are on nearly every part of the Philippine economy. When her husband passed away in 2020, most assumed the empire would fragment. Instead, Soledad did what few expected. She took the reins of San Miguel Corporation, a conglomerate so vast it touches everything from beer and food to power, infrastructure, oil, and tollways. At over 1.5 trillion pesos in assets, San Miguel isn't just a company, it's practically a parallel government with its own supply chain, utilities, and logistics web. While others chase fame, Nettie manages legacy. Behind boardroom doors, she maintains control over the Cojuangco family's strategic holdings. The San Miguel Foundation, the Eduardo Cojuangco Foundation, and critical stakes in companies that keep the country's lights on. She rarely gives interviews. Her power moves speak louder. Under her quiet watch, San Miguel didn't slow down, it expanded. The company doubled down on nation-building projects, from Skyway 3 to Tarlac-Pangasinan La Union Expressway, reshaping the country's highways while investing heavily in renewable energy and clean power grids. Every trip, every watt, every grocery shelf, somewhere, San Miguel plays a part. Soledad's wealth isn't just measured in pesos, but in reach. She doesn't need to be on magazine covers, she owns the printing presses that make them. Number 7. Susan Co., the retail visionary who turned groceries into gold. If you've ever walked into a pure gold store, grabbed a basket, and thought, everything I need is right here, you've stepped into Susan Co.'s world. While the rest of Asia was tightening its belt during the 1998 financial crisis, Susan and her husband, Lucio Co., did something unthinkable. They expanded. Their gamble was simple. Even in hard times, Filipinos still need to eat, and that bet turned into billions. What started as a single hypermarket in Quezon City is now more than 600 stores strong, making Pure Gold the second largest grocery chain in the Philippines. But Susan's real genius wasn't just retail, it was empathy. Instead of competing with the mom-and-pop sari-sari stores, she empowered them through the Tindahan Ni Aling Puring program, a loyalty ecosystem that turned thousands of small store owners into Pure Gold's wholesale partners. The result? A supply network that doesn't just sell to Filipinos, it feeds Filipino entrepreneurship itself. Behind the shelves, the Co family built a web few outsiders notice. Through Costco Capital, their holding company, they control liquor distribution brands like Alfonso and Tanduay, plus Liquigas, one of the nation's top LPG suppliers. Food, fuel, and retail, all tied together into one seamless business empire. Despite her wealth, Susan Co. remains famously private. No social media spectacles, no magazine covers, no politics. While other tycoons build legacies in headlines, she built hers in shopping carts and receipts. Her empire's secret isn't luxury, it's loyalty. Number 6. Elizabeth Sy, the heiress who turned malls into kingdoms. For most people, SM means shopping, a weekend escape, air conditioning, and halo after errands. But for Elizabeth Sy, it's not just a mall, it's an ecosystem, one that transformed the way Filipinos live, work, and relax. Born into the legendary Sy family dynasty, Elizabeth could have simply inherited wealth and watched it grow. Instead, she refined it. While her father, Henry Sy Sr., built the empire brick by brick, Elizabeth shaped its soul, the emotional experience behind every SM property. As head of SM Hotels and Conventions, she reimagined how Filipinos experience hospitality. From the Tal Vista Hotel overlooking the lake's misty horizon to the glass and gold skyline of Conrad, Manila, she blended comfort with culture, a rare mix of warmth and elegance that turned SM spaces into sanctuaries. But Elizabeth's influence doesn't stop at 5-star lobbies. She also serves as a director of BDO Private Bank, linking the Sy family's hospitality and financial arms into one seamless web of luxury and liquidity. It's not just about building hotels, it's about building trust, wealth, and continuity across generations. Unlike her brothers who dominate the headlines, Elizabeth prefers quiet control, a strategist working behind mirrored glass. Her focus, subtlety, her weapon, taste, her empire, everywhere you go. Under her hand, SM transformed from a place to shop into a place to stay. A playground for both locals and global elites. Every suite, every storefront, every marble floor tells the story of a woman who made wealth feel like home. Number 5. Josephine Gotianun-Yap, the strategist who built a fortress. While others built towers of glass, Josephine Gotianun-Yap built something stronger, a fortress of discipline. As president and CEO of Philinvest Development Corporation, Josephine doesn't chase trends, she outlasts them. Born into one of the Philippines' most enduring business families, she inherited more than wealth, she inherited restraint. Her parents, Andrew and Mercedes Gotianun, survived decades of political turmoil and economic collapse by mastering one skill: patience. Josephine turned that patience into power. Today, Philinvest stands as one of the country's largest and most diversified conglomerates, spanning real estate, banking, power, and hospitality. Her crown jewel, Philinvest City, transformed what was once farmland in Alabang into a 244-hectare green urban masterpiece, one of the first true smart cities in the nation. It's been called the Philippines' answer to Singapore's integrated city planning, sleek, sustainable, and self-sufficient. But Josephine's genius isn't just in building cities, it's in surviving storms. During the 1980s, her family nearly lost everything. That near collapse became her lifelong compass. Since then, Philinvest has been run with almost paranoid conservatism, low debt, high liquidity, and contingency plans for every crisis. When the pandemic paralyzed entire industries, while other companies froze projects or cut jobs, Josephine quietly expanded. Her leadership philosophy is simple: you don't play the short game when you plan for generations. That discipline has made her one of the most respected and underestimated CEOs in Asia. No grandstanding, no scandals, just results built on resilience. Under her watch, Philinvest became proof that quiet leadership can move entire economies. She doesn't make noise, she makes foundations. Number 4, Joselina Campos, the chemist who blended wellness and wealth. While some inherit money, Joselina Campos inherited a mission: to keep a nation healthy and a family legacy alive. As one of the heirs to the Unilab and Del Monte Pacific Empire, Joselina didn't just guard the fortune, she expanded it, transforming wellness into one of the Philippines' most profitable exports. Her story begins with her father, Jose Yao Campos, who co-founded United Laboratories in 1945, turning a small post-war pharmacy into the country's pharmaceutical backbone. But it was Joselina who carried that legacy forward into the global market, bridging science, nutrition, and scale. Through her holding company, she controls major stakes in Del Monte Pacific Limited, the food and beverage titan behind brands like Del Monte, S&W, and Today's Fruit. Under her leadership, the company expanded across Asia and the US, making the pineapple brand not just a household name, but a billion-dollar export. Her formula for success: discipline and diversification. While competitors focused on pharmaceuticals alone, she integrated food and health, building a model where nutrition meets medicine, where what you eat becomes part of your wellness routine. Despite her wealth, Joselina stays out of the spotlight. She rarely gives interviews, avoids politics, and keeps her empire's growth steady and quiet, a hallmark of the Campos name. And when crisis hits, she doesn't pause, she pivots. During the pandemic, her companies mobilized to provide essential goods and medical aid across the country, proving that business can be both profitable and purposeful. Joselina Campos may not be a household name, but her influence reaches every dining table, every grocery shelf, and every medicine cabinet. In a nation where food and health are survival, she built an empire that feeds both. Number 3, Betty Yang, the queen of instant comfort. For millions of Filipinos, comfort comes in a cup. Instant noodles, creamy biscuits, a quick meal that tastes like home. Behind those flavors stands Betty Yang, the reclusive president of Mondanisan Corporation, the company that gave the world Lucky Me noodles, Skyflakes, and Fita. While she's one of the most influential women in Philippine business, you won't find Betty on magazine covers or social media. Her empire doesn't rely on publicity, it relies on hunger. And in the Philippines, that's a market that never sleeps. Under her leadership, Mondanisan grew from a small family-owned food company into one of Asia's largest food manufacturers, exporting to over 40 countries and feeding millions every single day. The numbers are staggering. Billions of instant noodle packs sold each year, making Lucky Me practically part of the Filipino identity. But Betty's ambitions went beyond the local grocery shelf. In 2015, she acquired Corn Foods, a UK-based global leader in plant-based protein, positioning Mondanisan at the forefront of sustainable food innovation. That move wasn't just business, it was a vision. She saw that the future of food wouldn't just be fast, it would be ethical. Her empire now stretches from the lunch tables of Manila to the health-conscious markets of London and New York. And yet, despite her global reach, Betty remains grounded. She once described her company's mission as feeding people better, one meal at a time. In 2021, Mondanisan made history with the largest ever IPO in Philippine stock market history, raising over 55 billion pesos, and instantly solidifying Betty Yang's place among the nation's richest. Still, she avoids the spotlight. No lavish parties, no public statements. Her influence is quiet, but it's everywhere. Every time someone opens a pack of Lucky Me or bites into a Skyflake, they're tasting the legacy she built. Number 2, Nanette Medved-Po, the actress who turned plastic into power. She was once known for playing a superhero on screen. Now she's one in real life. Nanette Medved-Po, former actress turned entrepreneur and philanthropist, is the founder of Generation Hope and Purchase Carbon Offsets Philippines, two companies rewriting how business and environmentalism can coexist. While most tycoons build wealth by extracting from the planet, Nanette built hers by giving back to it. Through her flagship brand Hope in a Bottle, every purchase funds the construction of public school classrooms across the country. To date, her foundation has built more than 130 classrooms, improved access to education for thousands of Filipino students, and proven that profitability and purpose can share the same label. But she didn't stop there. As the founder of PCX, she's creating the world's first plastic credit exchange, helping corporations offset their plastic footprints and pushing Southeast Asia toward a circular economy future. It's innovation that merges environmental science, economics, and ethics, and it's already gaining international attention. Forbes named her one of Asia's heroes of philanthropy, while business analysts call her model the next wave of impact capitalism, and she's doing it all while keeping the transparency big corporations fear: public audits, clear numbers, measurable change. Nanette's story isn't about legacy wealth, it's about rewriting what wealth even means. She took the guilt of consumption and turned it into a movement where every bottle, every offset, every peso spent can plant a seed for the future. Number 1. Teresita Sy-Coson, the queen of Philippine capitalism. If the Philippines had a boardroom throne, it would belong to Teresita Tessie Sy-Coson. Quiet, pragmatic, and precise, she is the woman who runs the nation's most powerful conglomerate, SM Investments Corporation, the crown jewel of the Sy Empire. Her story began far from skyscrapers, in her father's humble shoe mart store, where she spent her childhood folding shoes and learning the rhythms of business. Those early lessons became her foundation. While her father, Henry Sy Sr., built the empire, Tessie became its architect of permanence, the mind that transformed SM from a retail success story into a corporate universe. Today, SM Investments dominates 3 pillars of Philippine life: retail, real estate, and banking. Its reach is staggering. SM malls welcome over 4 million visitors every day. BDO Unibank serves nearly 50 million customers, and SM Prime Holdings ranks among Southeast Asia's most valuable property developers. Under Tessie's direction, BDO evolved from a mid-sized thrift bank into the country's largest financial institution, a transformation powered by mergers, long-term vision, and her signature philosophy: we find ways. For her, that wasn't a slogan, it was strategy. Extended branch hours, rural outreach programs, and customer-first innovations turned a simple bank into the backbone of the nation's economy.